Hello my favorite people. First of all, hexagons are the bestagons. Second of all, I forgot to put in some coloring, so hang on. There we go. Lot effect gone. Thirdly, and most importantly, today we're talking about the DJI Ronin 5. Now, it's the 5th generation. You would think, how much better can a gimbal really get? I have to be honest, it's not life-changing, the differences in this gimbal, but there are some differences that are honestly pretty nice. The first and foremost, which I really like, is that each axis gets its own screw. So if you've ever used a Ronin 2, which I guess not many of you have, it's DJI's best gimbal and their biggest one. All of the axes on that one has screws that you can screw to adjust the axis. We have had this for a long time on the tilt axis. So this axis, I bet you've seen this many times. But now there's on all of the axes, even the height axis, you can actually adjust that as well. And it's, you know, it's such a quality of life thing that, in short, if you have an RS3, an RS4 Pro or something like that, I wouldn't buy the RS5 just because of this. But if you have to upgrade anyway, if your gimbal is on its last legs, getting this feature is actually pretty goddamn decent. Now, I do have one pretty big caveat when it comes to this fantastic otherwise gimbal. Now, the motors do look a lot bigger than the RS3 Pro, the RS4 Pro, etc. I mean, this is only the RS5. I would imagine the RS5 Pro would be even bigger. So you would think, okay, these motors are really big, they're really powerful, they can like handle a lot of forces. However, that wasn't really my experience. I'm gonna let future Pontus up in Höga Custom Bridge tell you about that. You know, sometimes life really does give you lemons, and this time I went to this really pretty bridge. It's called the High Coast Bridge. It's up in the north of Sweden, it's behind there. However, as you can see, we basically got Silent Hill all up in this bitch, so suppose we're not doing that. But the first time I used this gimbal, the DJI RS5, whatever the fuck, I used it on this bridge. We were going over it, we were filming a new car, okay? So these motors, they're quite big and beefy. They should be able to handle some wind. So I figured I'm not gonna bring my RS3 Pro. I'm just gonna bring this, and it should be absolutely fine. That was a big mistake, because this bitch, it has really big motors, but it's something with the algorithm and whatnot, but like when there's wind buffeting on it, it just moves the gimbal. It's like I'm manually moving. You see, I don't really have to do it the motors aren't really fighting me while I'm doing this. Now, this is really fucking annoying because these motors are so goddamn strong. I should not be able to do it this easily because I know the motors are really strong. If I balance this gimbal really poorly, if I take it all the way out, so it's balanced so bad, it holds it. Okay, it knows that it's unbalanced and it's pissed off, but it does hold it. It's like an artificial thing. It's just telling you, hey, you balanced it like a dick. But speaking of dicks, this is so limp when you go into wind. It's just, the thing is, I was doing like 80 kilometers an hour, hanging over the bridge over there that you cannot see. I swear there's a bridge back there. And it just, it didn't stop holding, it just limp-dicked. It just didn't want to hold up. And that was so fucking annoying because I was there with client and everything, and they're like, oh, you got the new RS5? I'm like, yeah. I got it to test it out. It's DJI, it should absolutely work. I stick it out the window, it goes, and it just, then it recovers, and it just continued. So, luckily, I told the production, okay, let's try. We slow it down, we go 70. I stack it out the window, it could handle it okay in 70. And luckily the thing about filming cars is you need a couple of seconds for each shot. It all worked out fine. My point being, you cannot use this for car-to-car shot. You cannot use this anywhere where there's a lot of wind. Mind you, 70, 80 kilometers an hour, that is a lot of wind. I'm not blaming the gimbal for not being able to handle it, but there is some kind of algorithm thing going on that's making it not handle it. It's not the motors not being able to handle it, it's something else. Maybe an artificial limit set by DJI, so that we have to buy the RS5 Pro version. Point being, for me, it's not really a gimbal I can use. I was really excited for it because it's smaller than the RS3 Pro I have. It's a lot nicer. Having the adjustable knobs, as I showed you, it's such a nice quality of life feature. So that for me was the biggest drawback. But let's go back to my little studio, and I'm gonna talk about how good looking you are, you little cutie patootie. Yeah, as you can imagine, I wasn't really super happy about that. And to be honest, I was pretty disappointed. But what can you do? I do believe there's some kind of firmware thing going on there, so if DJI fixes this, it will be a lot better in my book. But as it stands, I cannot really use it for my use case. However, there's one thing that makes this little DJI gimbal so much better. Because of this little small, it's such a small, tiny little cutie patootie. Oh, you can't even see it. Focus, you fuck. Yeah. Okay, it's a bit dark. Oh, that's a sexy shot. Anyway, this small little thing, it enables you to have active tracking on your gimbal. If you've ever flown a DJI drone, most of the modern ones have active tracking, which quite simply is you can kind of just mark a box and it will just track whatever you're trying to film. Cars, people, bikes, animals, even specific stuff, cars, buildings, like it's a very smart feature. It can track most of everything. Having it in a gimbal is not new. So back in the old days with the Raven Eye, DJI did have it. But the point of the matter here is that it actually works this time and it works really good. One of the first things I did as a filmmaker was doing YouTube. And being a Swedish guy, it's really awkward filming yourself. Like, I'm creeping out of my skin right now. I've gotten quite used to it, but it hurts a lot. So back when the Ronin RS2 came out, so the DJI version 2, whatever it's called, they also came out with the Ronin Raven Eye. And the Raven Eye was quite special because it was a small thing you could attach to the bottom of your gimbal. You had a HDMI cable from your mirrorless camera or whatever camera you had into the Raven Eye. That means you could get basically tracking that was decent, but it was also cumbersome to use because you had to use your mobile phone. It didn't really work filming yourself because you had to take up your phone and do this, and then the tracking wasn't really that good. On this one, however, I'm gonna have a small demonstration. So I'm simply gonna do this beautiful sign. Now I get a green light and the camera is tracking me. So we can have a small walk around this little conference room. I can act all important and it's tracking pretty decently. Like, yeah, someone dedicated could definitely do this a lot better. But the thing is, this is good enough. I can film myself. I can feel all important, and most definitely, I can even, Okay, yeah, you're not gonna film a snowboarder going down a mountain doing this. It works pretty good. It works pretty good. And then I'm like, okay, I want this framing. Stop. I said stop. Thing is, they work 50% of the time, all the time. So no, I really enjoy the tracking feature of this thing. You do have to get the combo, however, so you have to add a little bit on top of what you're already spending on this gimbal. But I like it. And the thing is, usually with the budgets we have nowadays, and that I'm sure you have to do a lot of stuff on your own. So getting to offload a lot of the stuff to the technology instead of you having to keep it in your head. So in my case, I have to keep the framing in focus. I have to think about that. I have to do the focus. I can just do my thing and I'll let the gimbal handle the framing. Think about it purely in a usability perspective. It is by far the best gimbal that has come out yet. I'm saying yet because the gimbal cannot really handle all that much. Like my Nikon ZR together with a normal 2470, I kind of almost feel like that is on the limit. Like if I would have a Sony 28-70 f2 or the Canon version, I'm not sure it would balance on this gimbal. Unfortunately, I cannot test it out. It would for sure balance on it if you had a bunch of counterweights, but like that big ass lens and this gimbal is not that lightweight and then some counterweights. Yeah, your arms are gonna be feeling that one. But with that said, for like personal YouTube vlogging, if you're doing some light videography work, if you only use your mirrorless cameras, if you don't ever use any bigger cameras, bigger lenses, you will be absolutely fine with this gimbal. In theory as well, you should be absolutely fine if you film automotive content as well, if you do rollers, as long as they can fix whatever is going on when there's a lot of wind on the gimbal, because the motor should be able to handle it. It feels fake how it kind of just doesn't do it that well. I don't quite understand it, and I'm quite disappointed in that aspect of it. One new feature that the RS5 has is what I call the Ninja rating. Now, what is that? Well, in my opinion, the Ninja rating is just something to shame you for not doing the Ninja walk. If you've ever seen someone walk with a gimbal that is a bit more professional, you kind of strut like a ninja just to keep your hips level, which means you don't bob up and down with the gimbal. That is quite important, and if you're ever unsure if you're doing it right, you can look on the display and you're gonna see a graph going up and down if you're bobbing, or it's gonna stay level and look green if you're doing great. Me, of course, being a pure professional, I always walk like this with a gimbal. No. A small tip for you as well is if you're ever walking with a gimbal, let me lock this axis, don't walk like this, okay? Because it's very easy to transform the motion of up and down. Instead, angle the gimbal forward, okay? Now you're helping a little bit because the tilt axis is kind of helping you to even out this, yeah? So if you're ever walking, do it like this. And speaking of walking like this, because you get the briefcase handle in the combo, which by the way you absolutely do have to get, don't get just the standard version, get the combo, because you have a couple of different buttons on it. You have the joystick, you have the recording button and stuff like that, which makes it a lot more ergonomic, and it's actually a favorite feature of mine when it comes to this little gimbal. In the past versions there has usually been a briefcase handle included, but it doesn't have any controls, and when I'm using a gimbal I always use the joystick constantly. So having this and being able to use it in briefcase mode, which is so much more comfortable. The thing about these kinds of stick gimbals is they wreck your wrists. Like it's a very unergonomic position. Like even if you angle it forward, like look at my wrist, it's pretty tough over the long term. Now instead look at this position. So my wrist is a lot more relaxed. I can hold it a lot more comfortably, and I'm just holding up the weight. I'm not holding it in a fulcrum way, if you understand me, okay? So there's not all of this fulcrum weight pushing down. Instead I'm holding it center to its mass, and it's a lot easier to handle. But as you would know, if you don't have any controls, you can't start recording, stop recording, you doing the joystick. You have to constantly move around and adjust and stuff, and it's just really annoying. But with the new briefcase handle, it's not as annoying. I've actually been using it a lot. Speaking of doing shit that's really easy, and something that actually saved me on a recent shoot is you can really easily adjust from horizontal to vertical. Usually I always just shoot in horizontal and then I crop out vertical. And while it does work great, there are some limitations doing this. So it's really nice being able to push in here. And you take the plate out, and then you do like so. Push it in. And you just swapped it over. It's so easy to do, and it takes literally 2 seconds to just go from one to the other. Of course you do have to rebalance the gimbal, so not literally 2 seconds, but because the gimbal balancing takes such a short time with the new axis, where you can just screw on everything, like even the fucking pan axis has a screw. Like the pan axis, I mean, come on, that's fantastic. I'm so in love with this, like the usability of the gimbal is great. The performance less so, but hopefully DJI can fix that. When it comes to the usability, if you use an RS4 Pro, RS4, RS3 Pro, RS Mini, whatever that's been released in the past 5 years, you're gonna be totally fine. All the buttons are in the same place. When it comes to the stabilization in a normal setting, you're just walking around for a real estate shoot, or you're just filming a car in a static scene. Maybe you're doing a product shoot, or you're filming a person in a really cinematic way. The stabilization is fine. It's not a problem, and in my opinion it hasn't been a problem. Like from the first gimbal, the stabilization has always been fine. It's just getting there has been the problem. Like for example, the first Ronin, balancing that was such a pain in the ass, and also you had to tune it, which was also a huge pain in the ass. But after that was done, the performance was great. There was nothing to complain about. We are now 5-6 generations later, and the performance, in my opinion, hasn't really increased. It's just getting to that performance has been so much easier. Speaking of tuning, you do not have two modes anymore, the normal and the hyper stabilized, whatever version they called it. For me, it's not a big loss. I never used the hyper stabilized version because it usually over-tuned it, so you could get some vibrations and shakes in the image, especially if you started pushing the gimbal. Okay, let's wrap up this video. Should you buy the RS5? Yeah, you absolutely can. Just make sure you get the combo, do not just get the standard version. Should you buy the RS5 Pro instead? That's a tough question to answer right now, but if the RS5 Pro has been released while you're watching this video, I will for sure pin a comment down in the comments, funnily enough, and you can see my take on it. I'm expecting me to be a lot more happy about the RS5 Pro because I do use a red Komodo X, and that thing will not balance on this gimbal. But if you're a normal videographer using a normal mirrorless camera with normal-ish lenses that doesn't weigh all that much, it's probably the best gimbal you can get right now. And especially it's so easy to use, it is so intuitive, it is so easy to balance. Like, Usability perspective, it's great. Stabilization, it's great. As long as you don't do any rollers, or at least if you don't do any rollers at a high speed, which you probably will since you're filming cars. Like, have you ever seen a car shot doing 40 or doing 80? There's a big difference in between those, and if you do 80, you're gonna have a bad time. If you do 40, you're gonna be fine. I would just sum it up as, if you're just a hobbyist, if you're just starting out, if you're just using smaller cameras, this is gonna be fantastic for you. If you're doing anything more complicated, if you're a bit more of a professional, if you're using bigger cameras, don't get this one. Like I didn't even try balancing my Komodo on it. Like, I can see how little space there is in between. There's no way. Alright then, I am done with my little mini review. If you like this video, leave a like. If you have anything to add, if you want me to know about anything, if I forgot something, do leave a comment. If you would subscribe, I would be eternally grateful. Please do, I need the motivation to make the YouTube videos. And lastly, please remember, hexagons are the bestagons. Hexagons are the bestagons. Thank you so much. Mwah.